Emily Drinkard, born September 30th, 1933, and died on October 7th, 2024, known professionally as Cissy Houston, was an American soul and gospel singer. Houston was a founding member of the R&B group The Sweet Inspirations and sang backup for artists such as Roy Hamilton, Dionne Warwick, Elvis Presley, Aretha Franklin, and Chaka Khan. Houston embarked on a solo career in 1970 and won 2 Grammy Awards in the traditional gospel album category. Houston was the mother of singer and actress Whitney Houston, the aunt of singers Dionne Warwick and Dee Warwick, and a cousin of opera singer Leontine Price. Houston was also the grandmother of Whitney Houston's only child, Bobby Christina Brown. Cissy had an estimated net worth of $7 million at the time of her death. Early life. Born Emily Drinkard on September 30th, 1933, in Newark, New Jersey, to Nicholas Nitch Drinkard, born 1895 and died in 1952, and Delia Mae Drinkard, born 1901 and died in 1941. She was the 8th and final child. Older siblings were brothers William, born 1918 and died in 2003, Handsome, born 1925 and died in 1986, Nikki, born 1929 and died in 1992, and Larry, born 1931 and died in 2012, and sisters Lee, born 1920 and died in 2005, Marie, born 1922 and died in 2007, and Ann, born 1927 and died in 2003. Houston's father, Nicholas Drinkard, was born to Susan Bell Drinkard, of Dutch and African-American descent. His father, John Drinkard, Jr., was of Native American descent. The Drinkards had owned a substantial amount of farmland in Blakely's, Georgia, at a time when it was unusual for black people to have large landholdings. The asset was gradually depleted as they sold small portions of land over time to resolve the continued legal troubles of a close relative. After Houston's 3 oldest siblings were born, the family relocated to New Jersey during the Great Migration. Her parents emphasized the children getting educated and being involved in the church, and her father encouraged Houston and her siblings to sing. In 1938, Cissy was only 5-year-old when her mother Delia suffered a stroke and died of cerebral hemorrhage 3 years later. Houston's father died of stomach cancer in March 1952 when Houston was 18. Cissy went to live with her older sister Lee and her husband Mansell Warwick. The Warwicks had 3 children, a son, Mansell Warwick Jr., and 2 daughters, Marie Dionne Warwick and Delia Juanita Warwick. Houston was raised Methodist Episcopal and said that she found Christ at age 14. Houston attended Southside High School. Personal life. In 1955, Houston married Freddie Garland. They had a son together, Gary Garland, who went on to become an NBA basketball player. However, the couple divorced before Gary was born. In 1958, at the age of 24, Houston met John Houston while he was still married. They started seeing each other throughout the end of Houston's first marriage. During this time, they had 2 children together. Their son Michael went on to become a songwriter and manager, and their daughter Whitney became a world-renowned singer and actress. Once his divorce was finalized in 1964, the new couple got married the following month. John served as Houston's manager while she was in the Sweet Inspirations. The couple's relationship eventually turned sour, and they legally separated in 1991, although they remained married until 1991. Houston was unfortunately thrust into the spotlight due to her daughter Whitney's struggles with drug addiction. She staged several interventions to help her daughter seek treatment and attend rehabilitation programs. However, in February of 2012, Whitney Houston died in Los Angeles. Houston was vocal about how the media mishandled coverage of the tragedy. In 2013, she released a book entitled Remembering Whitney, My Story of Love, Loss, and the Night the Music Stopped, in which she describes her daughter's life and tragic demise. Career. As a child, Houston joined her siblings in the gospel singing group the Drinkard Four, though it was later renamed the Drinkard Singers. During this time, Houston made her television debut on TV Gospel Time. The group performed regularly at church and also recorded a live album under the RCA label called A Joyful Noise. Houston continued singing as she got older, and she formed the group The Sweet Inspirations in 1963 along with Doris Troy and Dionne Warwick. A few years later, Sylvia Shemwell, Estelle Brown, and Myrna Smith formed the lineup, and the group was signed with Atlantic Records. The Sweet Inspirations provided backup vocals to a wide range of artists, including Lou Rawls, Otis Redding, The Drifters, and Houston's niece, Dionne Warwick. They have notably appeared on the popular Van Morrison single, Brown Eyed Girl. Houston was also featured on the Aretha Franklin hit, Ain't No Way, and can be heard performing the operatic soprano part. The Sweet Inspirations also performed background vocals for the track Burning of the Midnight Lamp by the Jimi Hendrix Experience. By 1969, the group was performing backing vocals for Elvis Presley in Las Vegas. This would be Houston's last time performing with the Sweet Inspirations, as she decided she wanted to stop touring so frequently to focus on her solo career and spend more time with her children. Houston had been making some solo records during her time with the Sweet Inspirations, but she didn't release a solo LP until signing a recording contract with Commonwealth United Record. In 1970, the album presenting Cissy Houston was released. It contained 2 tracks that made up the R&B charts. Her contract was then sold to James Records, and she recorded another album and a number of other singles throughout the early 1970s. She released the original recording of Jim Weatherly's Midnight Train to Georgia, which would later become a #1 hit when recorded by Gladys Knight and the Pips. She remained with James Records until 1975. In 1977, Houston was signed to Private Stock Records. During her time with the label, she released 3 albums, all of which were produced by Michael Zager. In 1979, she represented the United States at the World Popular Song Festival and landed in 2nd place with the track, You're the Fire. Houston also stayed busy working as a session musician with other artists. She sang backup on Bette Midler's 1972 debut album, The Divine Miss M, and also on Linda Ronstadt's Heart Like a Wheel. She has also been featured on albums and singles of Burt Bacharach and Herbie Mann. Additionally, she became increasingly well known for her recordings of gospel music. In 1996, she received the Grammy Award for Best Traditional Soul Gospel Album for her album Face to Face. In 1998, she won a 2nd Grammy Award for her album, He Leadeth Me. She has also performed alongside her daughter, Whitney Houston, multiple times. The two performed the track I Know Him So Well from the Broadway show Chess and have also performed one of the songs on the soundtrack to the movie Daddy's Little Girls in 2006. In 2014, at age 80, Houston performed alongside Aretha Franklin on The Late Show with David Letterman. Rest in peace, Cissy Houston. You may have gone, but you will never be forgotten. Thank you for watching, and kindly subscribe, like and share this video to family and friends.